Welcome to Cordkillers. The world of entertainment is turned upside down, and we're just trying to find out how to watch what we want, where we want, when we want, whenever we want. I'm Tom Merritt. Where's the good stuff, Brian?
Oh, my God. It's just off the coast of Florida, barreling in. Oh, sorry. You said good stuff, not yet another hurricane a week before October.
Yes, and now to Brian with weather. We're not even. When does hurricane season start? Another month. Right?
No, it's supposed to be over like a month ago.
A month. I'm in the opposite direction. Right. We're a month. It should have ended a month ago. Yeah.
Yes, but instead, it's hilarious to me because I go to weather.com to find out when it's finally going to get cold here in Austin, and every time I go, it's like a hurricane. I'm just like, what?
We have 90-degree weather again just for a day. Like it got down into the upper 70s, which is what it's supposed to do in Los Angeles in September. And it was fine. And we're all feeling normal. And then today it just was like, 90. And then tomorrow it's going to go back down into the 70s.
Oof. Well, I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous. You're jealous.
No, 90 is not good. It will kill my bottle brush tree.
I know.
I fought hard to
I'm thinking of your tomorrow.
Oh no, the tomorrow will be fine. Yeah, then you can hate me. To hate me tomorrow, love me today. Let's go on to the supply run.
Supply run.
Do you know, Brian, in what way that movie theater chains are like Cylons?
In that they are a thinly veiled simulacrum of German U-boats.
Wasn't expecting that answer. And in a lot of ways, you're right. But it wasn't what I was.
You're just escorting cargo on a convoy, and then all of a sudden a movie theater shows up, and you shout "Dratus contact, Karam 158,"
and then you have to fake your boats so the theaters don't get you. It's a whole thing.
Exactly.
No, the answer I was going for is they have a plan.
Oh, okay. Let's hope their plan is better than the Cylons' plan, because spoiler alert, they didn't.
That's another way I'm pretty sure the theaters may be like Cylons, but here's the plan. The 8 biggest theater chains in the U.S. and Canada plan to spend more than $2.2 billion among all 8, jointly, to upgrade more than 21,000 screens over the next 3 years. Among the things they plan to do with that money, improve the sound and picture. Okay, I think everybody's like, great. Yeah, no, that would be a really good thing to do. Laser projection technology, immersive sound systems, like make it a better experience to actually watch the movie. Number one, I'm with them, right? Like that's what that would be the first thing I'd spend my money on. Make it better. Number 2, improve the food. So that, when you go, you're not like, that's what I got, cold nachos or a dry chicken nugget. So they're gonna spend some money to give you better food options. Now, those of us who go to Alamo Drafthouse style places, right, are going to be like, well, we already have theaters with really good food, but there you go. Well maintained, more comfortable seats, state of the art air conditioning, lighting, signage, carpeting. They mentioned better improving carpeting, which I've been to some theaters, so I could see that. And finally, Brian. More to do when you go to the theater. Pickleball and ziplines, arcades, and bowling were all mentioned.
Okay. My reaction is all over the map, because the first knee-jerk thing, and I suspect most people reading or hearing about this will think the same thing, like, why do I want an athletic center stapled onto a movie theater? I could
zip line into my seat, perhaps. Yes. That could be fun.
Exactly. Well, but then again, you and I have had a preview of this. I mean, in so many ways, they sat and watched for 25 years as Alamo Drafthouse pioneered a bunch of nutty ideas.
Yep.
In fact, Alamo Drafthouse, there was a time that they had literally the best chicken wings in town, but as they scaled, they had to simplify the menu, and it got a little bit boring and very bland. And then they spiced it up a little bit with some good stuff again. So if anything, Alamo Drafthouse was the test bed where they went too far into quality, and they realized they had to rein it back in. There's the pickleball thing is like, wait, so I'm going to go put my gym clothes on and play pickleball and then go see a movie, which, again, I understand that impulse, but...
Or am I going to see the movie, then play the pickleball? Either way, I'm still, yeah.
Right. Well, and the answer is you're not going to play pickleball. Somebody will play pickleball, but you are going to sit with a beer in your hand and watch pickleball be played by other people because, like, one of the spots that we shot at Scam School at the most was a place called Moon Tower Saloon. Now, on paper, if I told you it was a bar that had places for everyone to sit around campfires and have a beverage, and also there would be a volleyball court. It's like, why would I want to play volleyball while drinking beer? You don't. You want to watch beautiful people playing volleyball while you're drinking beer. And so likewise, like the Evo Cinema across the street has just had a massive makeover and has already taken steps in exactly this direction. They have a huge Dave & Buster's style arcade. There's even tickets that you can exchange for prizes and all that stuff. They got to do something in an age where it used to be that the home experience and the theater experience maybe was comparable for a select group of elite enthusiasts, AV enthusiasts at home. But nowadays, by default, most of the stuff you buy is going to be as good of a experience and more private. And we were all force-fed into the place to get accustomed to the idea of having total control of when the movie starts and stops, and there's no exclusivity windows, and. So it makes sense that they have to bring their A game on all this stuff. The one thing I'm unfamiliar with is, what is laser projection, Tom?
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll go
I just
look
thought
it
you
up.
might know offhand.
I thought you knew, and I kind of know, but I don't know enough to properly answer it in front of other people.
Okay, well then let
a laser projector uses lasers beams to create the moving image. So it's like a projector, right? A TV projector, and it uses the laser to create the light. So basically, you have more precise alignment of the pixels, except It's not pixels because it's lasers. And so it gives you a more highly defined view there.
I wonder if I've ever seen a laser projection of this type then, because
probably they're not unheard of. My biggest criticism of all this is like, none of this is new. I mean, okay, maybe pickleball. I haven't seen a theater with a pickleball court yet, but yeah, improving the sound and picture, yes, you should do that. Laser projection is just the most recent version. I'm pretty sure I've seen some AMCs tout their laser projection in the 40X theaters. And it's the kind of thing where a Philistine like me goes, oh, look pretty good. Like, I'm sure there's aficionados like Robert Herron and folks who can like tell like, oh yeah, no, that was clearly a laser projection. Improving the food is something that, you know, it used to be you bought popcorn, maybe a hot dog and a Coke. And then over time, as theaters struggled against more competitors, they upped their food game, right? And then they had nachos, and then they had chicken wings, and then you had the Alamo Drafthouse, and then you had basically dine-in theaters from AMC that are like TGI Fridays. And what they're saying is, well, we shouldn't be like TGI Fridays. We should be better than that. So yeah, that's not new. That's just take what we've been doing and make it better. Clean up the theater. Make it more comfortable to be in. Great idea. Do that. Make it easy to get around. The only new things here are the pickleball zip line. I've seen arcades already at a bunch of theaters. That isn't even new. Bowling is like, okay, so you're now doing two different businesses at the same time. To me, it sounds like theaters are realizing we are not in the business of showing movies. We are in the business of giving you an entertaining night out. And that, when I think of it that way, is super smart. Like, let's not try to imitate another thing so that you'll see a movie. Let's make showing movies one of the things we do at the theater.
Well, and worth considering is the whole reason that this is a news item is because of that $2.2 billion price tag. And if a cartel of movie theaters are going to make this kind of investment, the last place you want to write a check for $2.2 billion is on anything new that is untested. So if you are going to put something untested in there, might as well be the most explodingest, easy to approach. It's the disco dancing of sports, pickleball.
Yeah, it's
anybody
the
can
hot
do
new
it.
thing, right?
Right.
I guess it's easy to implement a pickleball court.
Very easy. It's very easy. We can almost fit one in our soundstage. We actually looked into it.
Yeah.
Pickleball, for the uninitiated,
Does not involve pickles.
it's bigger. It's bigger than ping pong, smaller than a tennis court.
Yeah.
If you have doubles, like you could be very old and you barely have to take more than 2 steps in any direction, and it's a very dead ball that you hit. So it's one of those things where even if somebody's playing for the very first time, they slot in pretty nicely to a new game.
When's the
It's
first time you ever played
friendly.
pickleball?
2 months ago.
You want to know the first time I ever played pickleball?
When?
1987.
What? Okay, I got to hear this because I've only played it the one day.
We had something in my senior year in high school called early PE, where you'd come out in the 0 period before classes started, and you got to get your PE out of the way first thing in the morning. And it was a way to be able to leave early, right?
Oh, got it.
You get PE out of the way, then you can drop the last period, and then you get to leave early. Our PE instructor decided that since he was forced to do early PE, he would make it be the easiest things he could think of. So one of those things was pickleball. He had us doing bocce ball too.
Oh, bocce ball is a blast. I played the hell out of bocce ball.
So we learned that, and we learned pickleball. It was kind of brand new, I think, at the time. And I never heard of it again until 3-4 years ago when it started to make a comeback. And I was like, wait, really? Pickleball, the thing from early PE? And turned out it stuck around and made good eventually. So yeah.
It's got a lot of those just right attributes, not least of which is that the courts are so small. You could put more courts in so everybody could play together. The rules, if you've ever played tennis or ping pong, you already know them, give or take. And then and the culture of it being very friendly and approachable is that
the Plaza Hotel
perfect.
in Las Vegas down by Fremont Street took a bunch of their empty roof space by the rooftop pool and turned it into pickleball courts. It's the thing. So what we're trying to say here, folks, is the future of movie theaters is people saying 20 years from now, you could see a movie at the pickleball place?
Well, okay, so back to the general idea, and we've talked about this before. If what you want to do is completely divest the movie theater experience from the home viewing experience, then you want to have an experience that can't be simulated anywhere else. And that means other humans coming around, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of analogous situations where something evolved where it had been just the one thing, and then the one thing became a feature of a larger thing. But I feel like that's what theaters are thinking will save them.
Yeah, like video games took over pinball joints.
Yeah. Or a roller coaster. I don't know if this is true, but I could imagine a roller coaster could have at one point been a thing that you went to and you rode the roller coaster. And then amusement parks were like, what if we took a roller coaster and a bunch of other stuff, things from the traveling Midway, and made them permanent in one place? Like, that kind of feels like what theaters are trying to say is we want to be the entertainment place that you go to and can do lots of things, including see movies.
Yeah, if you've seen enough of Defunct Land or any of the theme park YouTube documentaries, like theme parks used to be places that everybody was in costume and you would see a show or three and maybe see a technology demo or something, but now they're synonymous with roller coasters.
Wait, are we trying to say that movie theaters should be theme parks, or
kind of
theme parks should have more movie theaters?
That's interesting. Well, I mean, many theme parks do have many movie theaters.
Right.
Go to Disney.
Yeah. California Adventure has a big old movie theater where you see like a 10-minute clip of something, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and we've seen different efforts on this, like, with rumbling seats, and they, call it 5-dimensional movies or whatever.
Yeah.
But all of it, I mean, they gotta try something. They gotta do something. The only thing that I didn't see on the list that we've talked about before is, and I understand why it wouldn't be in there because talent may not scale for it, but live performances, live entertainment. Like, one of my favorite things, if you're picking from the menu of crazy things Alamo tried on, one was Crazy Midnight Movies, where they would take very, very old movies and do themed food with it. And but the other was live Foley work, seeing like a martial arts kung fu movie, and everybody's doing all the Foley, like they're taking silverware and smashing it together with swords. And
yeah, I love that. Well, like, what if you did period specific theaters? So instead of, you've got your 12 theater megaplex and maybe you can't fill all 12 theaters, you make one of them the 20s theater. And so you can not only show movies from the 20s with an organ and live Foley work, but you could like remaster current movies and show them as if they had come out in the 20s or something.
Oh, I would love that.
Right?
I would love that. You'd probably grab them from like the dollar movie circuit.
Yeah, sure.
Like old prints that are going around.
What things that are outside their window but still kicking around. I mean, maybe you want to do 30s because it's talkies, but still, like, I think that there's some innovative things you could do in theaters. It's interesting to remember, like, movie theaters were an abomination where they're like, wait, this theater's only showing movies? Movies are just things you put on when the play can't happen, Right. So it would be interesting to see that circle complete if they started to do like live performances.
I mean, they should. They definitely should. Doggone! I had a thought and I was being too courteous and I didn't share it immediately.
Yeah, next time just tell me to shut up.
No! I got it back. Thank you.
Good.
This is the perfect thing for everybody to write in. Cordkillers@gmail.com. What should be in and what should be out? You heard about the proposal. What are the things that you don't want more of, or why would you hate this in a movie theater? And what are they missing that obviously would make the movie experience even better?
I hate to admit it, Brian, but I can smell whether an email is from a patron or not. Can you do that?
I thought I was the only one. Turns out, like an email, I'm just like, credibility, I'm not sure. I mean, Clearly they don't have the best judgment if they're not already a patron. Somebody who wakes up in the morning and decides, I want to support independent creators. I want to make sure Cordkillers is loud, live, and independent and keeps on going strong just as it has for 15 years. Tom, we're old.
Yeah. Someday we'll have a pickleball court, and that dream will be made true by you at patreon.com/Cordkillers. Let's move on to the search party. So, Brian, I know that movies and TV shows based on video games have been getting better, but does that mean we need a movie based on The Sims?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have not read anything about this movie. Just now I heard you say the word The Sims, and I'm thinking, obviously, this is someone realizes they're in the Matrix movie. They are living an idyllic life and realize they're not in control of it. This probably will be a fine movie with lots of winks to the source material.
Brianna Redman and Kate Herron are writing it. Herron's going to direct. Herron directed the first season of Loki for Disney+. It is going to be produced by Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap, which also produced Barbie. So I'm already getting a sense of oh my gosh, the video game character wants to go to the real world, which is, Barbie wants to go to the real world. Loki wants to go to the real world, which is the real world. And Sims is an alternate universe. There's all kinds of little triangulations there. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe we do want a Sims movie. The next question is, what language should it be in? Simlish?
I guarantee you there will be, as a novelty thing, one theater that will offer it completely dubbed over in Simlish. It also, think about it this way, because it's a perfect IP, because the IP by its very nature, what's the first thing everybody does when they loaded up The Sims? They made a version of themselves. They projected themselves into the movie. What does everybody want in their blockbusters? They want 4-quadrant success, young, old, male, female. There's not going to be a single character that you can't map onto in the audience. It's going to be a whole nuclear family who realizes they're in the Matrix and get out or not.
I can't wait for someone to be trapped in the bathroom when the door is taken away. I just want to know how they work that into the plot.
They're going to do all those gags, like somebody's
Yep.
going to take off their pants and be pixelated. and-
Yep. Absolutely. I probably would have passed this over, but I just felt like this was a Brian story I needed your comment on.
Yeah,
Amazon.
The next one or this one?
Amazon's new competition TV show, debuting October 30th, will have entrepreneurs pitch judges, including Amazon executives, and the finalists' products will be sold on Amazon.
Well, yes, Tom. Callie'sCards.com is fully funded over on Kickstarter. No, I love this idea. I mean, Shark Tank is a perfect show, but then everyone just goes out and says, as seen on Shark Tank, they don't have a distribution chain. They don't do it all in-house. Now, and Amazon, I believe, has been pretty good about in public showing warts and all. For example, you remember in Vanland, they had actual Amazon trainers, like that's their Amazon training that they were giving.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a no-brainer, but I'm also glad they didn't do it earlier. They're doing it now when they're better at TV than they would have been, 10 years ago when they could have done this idea. So I'm curious how it will be. I'm also curious if anyone will watch, because I think that's the other problem is this is the kind of show, Shark Tank for sure, is the kind of show you watch because it's on, right? You turn on the TV and you see what's on and you're like, oh yeah, that Shark Tank show. I'll watch that. I don't know that it's appointment viewing, so you have to work a little hard to get people to turn it on and watch it.
I will watch it specifically because it's something I can buy. Like the idea of blending home shopping with it. And plus also there's opportunities. I guess they've already made all these decisions because it's debuting already, but I would love it if they had kind of a, like something gets a thumbs down, but then they sell it anyway at Amazon. Like something's an objectively awful idea. And they're like, this is the worst idea ever. We're going to put you in the special section for bad ideas. And then they get to stick it to the man as it becomes a success being so bad.
And then Amazon profits either way, right?
Exactly.
I can totally see that being a plot point where they just let the guy, like, you've lost, your product's awful, it's not going to be, and we're not moving it on to the finals. And then they do the confessional and they let that person rail, like, these judges don't know what they're talking about, this whole thing is rigged, blah 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 blah. I'll show them, and then sell it on Amazon. And then that's a follow-up story later in the season. Is like, I guess we were wrong. Look how great it is.
I guess the star-bellied sneeches were right after all.
Yeah. I guess we have to eat some crow now while we cash this check. Right over.
Right.
Donald Glover is developing a Star Wars movie and did an interview with Wall Street Journal. This is a Lando movie. Glover said, I just want it to be as fun as a Star Wars fan myself. I think it's important that there needs to be fun being had. It's very hard to have fun right now. It's tough because there are very serious things happening. And those are the only things that connect us weirdly. So I get why things are serious, but part of the human experience, I believe, is we have a responsibility to have enjoyment. And I just feel like we're lacking in that department. Everything that has to do with the Skywalkers is like so serious. With Lando, I think the best part about him is he's a scoundrel. And I feel like people can relate to that. And he's probably like, man, this war is whack. I need money, which I feel everyone can relate to. I want to bring fun to Star Wars. I just want it to be fun.
Hold on, Tom. Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop, boop. I'm running this through the Hollywood translation machine. Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop. Results are coming in now. Tap, tap, tap. What he said in English is, yo, dude, I worked on the Lord and Miller version of the Solo movie, and that was a funny movie that was joyous and good. Then Lord and Miller got kicked off of it and fired, and they're geniuses who went on to create Mitchells and the Machine, possibly one of the greatest movies on Netflix available right now. And I had to work with Ron Howard, who was told by a bunch of suits over at Lucasfilm to serious up Solo, and that's why it was a middling failure of a Star Wars movie. What if I took that and brought the vision that Lord and Miller had? Anyway, I'm Donald Glover. Beep, boop, boop, pop.
That's fairly good. That's fairly good. I have an alternate translation that also adds to that.
By all means, read it. I know the telex just came in.
Yeah, no, this is a few extra lines that are being added, which is like, I know you all love to hate everything from Star Wars if it doesn't match your expectations. So I want to set your expectations at fun. Let's just have fun. This is not going to be a movie where you have to pick at the lore, okay? Everybody settle down ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, we're great. We're the best at this.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Here's the Netflix news. They had Geeked Week and gave more news than we could fit in the show or that I wanted to fit in the show. So this is the news that I think is important. And hopefully you benefit from hearing it. We're going to just run through it. Brian, stop me if you care.
Okay.
Black Mirror Season 7 casts Emma Corrin, Paul Giamatti, Issa Rae, Awkwafina, coming 2005.
100% in. That's a good number of stars who I like.
New Squid Game Season 2 teaser shows Gi-hun with a gun. Gi-hun was 456 from the original, and also back in the game.
I did not watch the trailer because I have reached that threshold where it's like, what am I going to not watch Squid Game 2? Come on.
Netflix is taking its third try at a Magic the Gathering animated series. The new showrunner this time will be Terry Matalas, who was the showrunner on Picard.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sound you heard was me saying, oh, good. Oh, dear.
The second and final season of Arcane comes November 9th.
I expect great things from this. The first season was extraordinary. I really enjoyed watching it with my kids.
Behind the scenes clip of Sandman Season 2 released. That's coming next year, featuring Loki, Thor, and Odin.
Yeah, I'm told that's good.
Co-CEO Greg Peters. Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. I know Ted Sarandos. This is the other CEO? Yeah, the other CEO's name is Greg Peters. He talked at a festival about the NFL Christmas games. That makes it sound like it was a Christmas festival. It was a film festival.
Okay.
He was talking at. He said, we look at the 2 Christmas Day NFL games as more like an event kind of thing, where for one day, football will be on Netflix. Hopefully those will be amazing games, and we'll all be talking about what's going on there. And we plan to Netflixify them a little bit. So we'll plan to have a little bit of stuff around the games with our talent and stuff like that. Will hopefully make it super fun. He also said, having Thursday Night Football or the NBA or things like that, we love to do those things. It would be amazing.
Listen up. When it's Christmas time and you're enjoying this bounty of gifts, make sure to say, thank you, Art Garfunkel. You truly are the co-CEO of Netflix.
Greg Peters.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. The other co-CEO, whose name you're more likely to be familiar with, Ted Sarandos, speaking at the same festival, said Netflix customers streamed 94 billion hours of programming in the first half of 2024. That's a hair up from 93 billion a year earlier, but it's still up. And said, I don't think we could be any more transparent than this. I'm hoping that the other folks in the business will follow suit.
Okay, first of all, if you want to obscure something, keep being that kind of transparent. You know, why are you giving us hours? Why don't you give us the number of minutes so it sounds even bigger? Better yet, the number of picoseconds. That's an even bigger number. So transparent.
I just love Netflix, the one that was hammered for years for doing 0 ratings, saying ratings don't matter. You don't need to know them. We don't even know them. We don't care. Going like, I wish more people were as transparent as us. Look how transparent we are. You can see right through us.
He's literally obscuring the salient facts of the matter by dazzling with large numbers, and Trump-like is calling it transparency.
So you're saying it's more translucent than transparent?
I'm saying, clear as coal, my friend. Now, actually, that's probably not great because coal can eventually be made into diamonds, but.
Well, yeah, and, you know, maybe apt. Ted Sarandos also said, People often ask me if we need so many movies and TV shows on Netflix. I always answer with an emphatic yes. People have such different and eclectic tastes that you can't afford to program for just one sensibility. You have to love it all. Prestige dramas, indie films, true crime, romantic comedies, stand-up, documentaries, and reality TV.
Okay, I know I've been given sass and making fun, but this is actually a sentiment that I will defend to the map. There is, yes, it is true that in the marketing world, there is something called choice paralysis, where you're just overwhelmed with options. Some people claim to experience it at the grocery store, and yet those same people will get very, very upset if the exact type of spicy mustard that they want is not available of the 75 different mustards. Yes, I actually completely agree with this sentiment. Everybody is able to cozy up to a very increasingly particular niche, and it's good that they're serving that.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting he didn't say sports. When you combine that with Art Garfunkel's remarks earlier, he was like, we'd love to have Thursday night football or the NBA. One thing I didn't quote him on was him saying, like, those deals are real complex. He seemed to be signaling, like, talk to us, make those deals simpler. Netflix is going to get all Christmassy over here. Watch what we're doing.
It seems like he could also be saying, you know what's not complicated? Pickleball. Also associated with movies.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing if Netflix started televising pickleball tournaments from movie theaters?
That would be brilliant, because then they could have, like, I'm just throwing this out here. This is not news. This is Brian had a clever idea. Like, imagine if Netflix started covering pickleball and they started sponsoring the pickleball courts, and part of the package deal was that one screen out of the movie theater showed Netflix movies, so they were able to get theatrical releases. And it's like, of the 11 movie theaters in each megaplex, just one was the Netflix theater, and now they get to qualify for all the awards.
Yeah. And what if you didn't pay extra? Like, maybe you pay to get into the pickleball court, and then you can watch as many Netflix movies as you want in that theater. They just keep showing them.
Ooh. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Or if those would have ads, though, you have to pay a little extra to go to the theater that didn't have ads.
Yeah, you're allowed to watch the movie outside on a little tiny screen. You can stand there with your popcorn, and then ads come up randomly.
And that screen is your phone. Apple TV Plus won't make a second season of Time Bandits.
Man, that's a bummer. I never even really got to give it a try. I was sort of waiting.
I think we're part of the problem, Brian.
Well,
because I wanted to watch it too, and I never got around to it.
Yeah. I was waiting for people to be dazzled by it and to hear something good. And also, it's like, I don't want to look directly in the face of a swing and a miss from Taika Waititi, who otherwise has a flawless record in my book.
New trailer came out for Marvel's Thunderbolts. This is well in advance of its May 2nd theater arrival.
Is it too soon to suggest that next year, 2025, we may be able to bring back the summer movie draft?
It's possible. I think we can start feeling out. Yeah. It might be time.
Maybe we
5
could do, like,
years later. It might be time.
With only 3 or 4 players or something.
And then this is just news that Brian and I care about. Hopefully you might find something interesting. Detroiters coming to Netflix. Both seasons, October 15th.
Let me just say that if you're uninitiated, before there was Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, there was Detroiters. I didn't know about Detroiters. Justin finally bullied me into trying it. It's great. It's the best. It's so good. I look forward to finishing it. My daughter said she'll kill me if I watch it without her.
And you're going to be able to finish it on Netflix should you choose. I watched it on Paramount Plus. I think it's probably going to stay there. I don't think it's a Netflix exclusive, but more people have access to the genius that was Detroiters. Let's move on to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
What you been watching, Brian?
Heard of the movie Ghostlight, Tom?
No, I haven't. What's Ghostlight?
It's I was actually, I forgot why I was checking Rotten Tomatoes, and I was just noticing the highly rated ones.
You just wanted to see if it's gone downhill anymore?
Yeah. There's something missing. I can't put my finger on. But Ghostlight had 99% positive reviews with over 100 reviews. And the audience had it at 97%. It is a movie that it's a family processing grief for reasons that are explained, but there's lots of laughs and joy because what you have is you have a upper lower class working stiff in a construction job, dual income trying to get ahead. And he's somebody who bottles up everything and won't talk and won't do therapies for other people. And just there's a crack and he ends up joining a community theater for a production of Romeo and Juliet. And it's so out of character for him that his wife thinks he's cheating on her and so on. And it is very serious. Bonnie cried the entire way through. But also so heartfelt. And here's the part I love the most. The chemistry between the dad, the mom, and the kid is so spot on and real. And then I found out it was because the dad and the wife are married and the kid is their daughter.
Oh, wow.
They are all three actors and they are all three incredible. I don't know if you can see it, but I got goosebumps literally just thinking about the show. It's available for rental. I can't think of a better way for you to spend $4.99 and get an hour and 40 minutes of joy.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Ghostlight is the name of it.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
I think it's only a few weeks old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that didn't even do much of a theatrical run. And
it's just like an
it's
indie
probably
or
still
something.
running in theaters right now. But boy, just seeing that level of universal praise for it, like that's how and why I saw Vanland is just by its reputation. And then this is one of those kinds of movies where it just reeks of being very, very real.
Yeah, very cool. Ghostlight is the name.
What about you? What have you been watching?
I finally started watching Pachinko. It's like midway through the season now as Apple TV has been releasing it. And we're 2 episodes in, so we're a little bit behind. But man, I forgot how good that series is. If you're unfamiliar, Pachinko tells a story. It's based on a book, and it tells the story of a Korean-Japanese family. And by Korean-Japanese, I mean they are Koreans, but they live in Japan. Season 1, they told some of the story about how they ended up in Japan. So some of it was told in Korea. But most of this season so far is taking place in Japan. So some of it is happening in the weeks leading up to Hiroshima. The family is in Osaka, and there's the rumors that the broadcasts are all that the war is going perfect, but then there's the rumors that the Americans are coming and they fly over with leaflets and all of this, and what's going to happen to the minority populations. Then there's a late 80s storyline that is about one of the descendants trying to get money set up for an investment, but he gets blackballed by this guy, and you start to suspect that maybe that guy is this young guy in the wartime storyline, but we're not quite sure. And it just all ties together. There's also a couple other eras that they covered in season 1 that they haven't yet covered in the episodes we've watched, but it's just great period piece, excellent acting, excellent storyline, just weaved together so well. And it was one of those things where like, oh yeah, Pachinko's back. I should watch that. It was pretty good. And then we watched episode 1. I was blown away again, even though I had good expectations.
God, isn't that great when something lands so well that even on a repeat viewing, you find yourself fully sucked in and in state?
Yeah. It's and also on a season 2 viewing when you're like, okay, it was good season 1. Are they going to be able to keep it? It's like, yeah, they absolutely have kept it going. It also has one of the best opening montages. We end up not skipping it more. A lot of times we'll skip the opening after the first time we watch because okay, we've seen it once. It's very much like what was the John Cena DC
Peacemaker?
It's very much like Peacemaker because it's all the members of the cast from all the periods of time that they cover in the Pachinko parlor dancing to music, to
great.
modern music. Yeah. So check it out. That one's on Apple TV Plus called Pachinko. Hey, Brian, did I tell you I merged?
Okay, hold on. This is a family-friendly story, right?
Yeah, this is not, don't look that up in Urban Dictionary because I don't know what it might mean there, but it's not what I mean. I mean, I merged my Daily Tech News Show newsletter and my Tech Tom newsletter.
Oh, that's right. The Daily Tom.
It is now just the Daily Tech newsletter from me. And you can get it at dtns.substack.com or freetechnewsletter.com. We'll redirect you there. And it is Thursday, free tech news. Saturday, free update on Daily Tech News Show's episodes for the week. And then if you pay a little bit, you can get the tech news delivered in Substack Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I have been reading it.
Oh my goodness. Wait, now, have you been actually reading it, or is it just your voice?
No, it's me. It's actually
great.
me. Yeah, I could have got 11 labs to read it, but no, it's me. It's like 10 minutes. So if you're like, newsletter, okay, Tom, I would like to have that, but I ain't got time to read. I will read it to you. So go check it out at dtns.substack.com.
Can you promise me that you'll do one of my favorite things that audiobooks sometimes do? When an audiobook is read by the author has license to shade the performance a little bit. Now, if you hire a narrator, they have to read what they're handed, but the author gets to kind of like, oh, I know this chapter, and they just kind of tell the story.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they go off book.
I'm way ahead of you.
But just do those little moments where it's just like title. And then there's like a squiggly line underneath. Anyway, you know,
I've been going farther than that. I read the copy from the newsletter, and then every once in a while a thought may occur that I just like throw in a little extra to the audio folks. So, you know, keep an ear out for that as well. Anyway, it's freetechnewsletter.com. Let's scan the horizon.
Send scanning to avoid.
Scanning the horizon!
We have a brand new set-top box entering the ring, the Google TV Streamer. We told you about this a few weeks ago. It is now available for purchase. It's a slim, quote-unquote, set-top box. You can put it anywhere. Don't try to balance it on top of your thin screen HD TV. It's on sale for $100, and it replaces the Chromecast line. Google is phasing out the Chromecast. You'll still find them on sale as they run through the inventory, but they're not making new Chromecasts. The Google TV Streamer is a flat wedge-looking thing, slightly bigger than your palm. It's pretty small. Some of the features available on the box are also coming to TVs and projectors that run the Google TV operating system. The Google TV operating system is different than Android TV, which is also from Google. Both the Google TV OS and the box have a home panel now. That'll let you see and control smart home devices with your remote or by voice, an ambient screensaver that can show photos from your Google Photos library, or let an algorithm create scenes from your own prompts. You can just type in show me a meadow with me in it or whatever. Google's Gemini large language model will create summaries for TV shows, season breakdowns, and include audience reviews. As a sports tab is coming to the For You section, a grid guide for the free channels, the 150 fast channels on TV free play. Once again, it's Google TV Streamer, available now for $100.
Look, everything you read sounds delightful. This is probably a fantastic product, and I hope it does very, very well for Google. Maybe so good that they can allow just one project to keep its name for more than 20 minutes. Somewhere there's a black ops division of Google that does nothing but reinvent everything that Google's already made and give it a new name. And the weirdest part is, I assume nobody knows the name of that division because they keep changing the name.
Because they keep changing the name. Yeah. Yeah, and probably like where it is on the Google campus. Google TV Streamer for that forever. Brian, that'll never change.
Ah, yes. Google TV Streamer. Look out for their new product called Product.
It is Google trying to compete with Roku. They are seeding the dongle realm to Roku itself, actually, which still makes the little dongles, and Amazon. So if you're like, no, I just want a little stick that I can plug into the HDMI port, you can still get that from Amazon and Roku. But Google's stepping up and saying, we want to compete with the Roku box. We want to compete with Apple TV, NVIDIA Shield TV. Like we want to be a box that people think of when they think of television. And with a lot of Android users out there, they can do a lot of integration the way Apple does with Apple TV and iOS.
Yeah, I assume you can cast from your Android device onto streamer, which is
absolutely, yep.
Which
you absolutely can.
I don't. Everything sounds great except for I don't understand the need for the name change. It's an inferior name after.
Well, they're getting rid of Chromecast, so they had to change it. For that reason, it's not a Chromecast device anymore.
Yeah, but they could call it like the Chrome platform or the
Chromebox.
The Chrome
Wedge.
You know what? Maybe this is you know what we need is a division that's good at changing names.
And it's worth mentioning, Apple TV OS did update this past week as well. The only feature of note that I will mention is you now get that Amazon X-ray style thing where you can like see who's talking in any given scene, and it integrates with iOS. So if you have iOS 18 and tvOS 18, then you can go in and like use the remote on your phone, tap it, and see the information on your phone, or have it show up on the screen, either one. So it's up to you. But it's kind of cool if you like that sort of thing like Brian does.
Yes, I do. I really do.
Amazon's Prime Video and MGM Studios are going to join the Motion Picture Association. If you haven't been keeping track, it's no longer the Motion Picture Association of America. It's just the Motion Picture Association, the MPA. Amazon and MGM will join on October 1st. The other members of the MPA are Paramount, Sony, Universal, Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, and Netflix.
You know, I suspect that this is a more important touchstone than even Amazon being included in various award shows or whatever. Like this is like now there's not much upside to having a bunch of censors. Like if you've ever seen the documentary film, This Film Is Not Yet Rated, the MPA on the one hand was a genius construct deliberately made by Hollywood to police Hollywood so that it would not come under government regulation, because they were sniffing around saying, maybe movies are bad for kids. Maybe we can pass laws and get a stranglehold in it. And before they could move, suddenly, I forget the one guy's name, but he makes the MPAA and he's like, no need, we're self-policing. Oh, that's too many curses. PG-13, that's a new rating we made. You get one F word, use it wisely. It's in general, people actually write movies with scenes that they deliberately know will piss off the censors so that they can be cut, so they won't take away scenes that will affect the art. Knowing that it's not fun, but they're joining it anyway is a real sign of maturity, is my point.
I would agree with almost everything you said, except Touchstone is a Disney property, not MGM.
Okay, fair enough.
YouTube confirmed that it has rolled out pause screen ads to all viewers and all advertisers. So if you don't pay for YouTube Premium and you haven't seen it yet, you're gonna. YouTube ads will show up when you pause a YouTube video on a television. This isn't new. We told you this was coming. And also Hulu, Sling TV, Epix, Stars, DirecTV, and AT&T TV all already have that. So it's the new thing for these apps to do.
Well, and again, tactically speaking, this makes sense because as we've done here, and I hope we haven't pissed off too many of our loyal fans and patrons, like we are endeavoring to provide more and more value behind the paywall of Patreon and more extras. And we also, finally made good on a decade late on our threat to actually monetize the mainstream. And we are aware that the experience is slightly degraded for folks, and we're not doing it because we want to make the experience less good. However, we want to clearly delineate between looky-loo freeloaders and awesome real people.
But if you pause our podcast, we will not play an ad.
Yet. Yet.
I didn't say never.
Okay.
Lionsgate is teaming up with AI startup Runway to develop AI tools using its film library aimed at streamlining movie production tasks. So basically saying, Runway, you can train on our properties. This deal is stirring up some controversy because whenever you say AI in Hollywood, you get a lot of people who get very upset about the impact of potentially on jobs. But it's a sign that the film industry, now that they have a deal about how to use AI and some guidelines with the unions, they are starting to explore what they can do with that.
This is a fascinating space, not the least of which of reasons are that, I own two significantly robust IPs with Scam Nation and Modern Rogue, and we own all the raw footage for all that. And we've already had companies come sniffing around for licensing deals, and it'll be interesting to find out whether or not essentially a version of the RIAA's automatic license doesn't emerge, where anybody can grab anything and royalty payments get automatically carved out for what it got trained on, or if there's sort of like ethically sourced material for LLMs versus unethically scraped ones, or if everybody decides nobody cares, it's remix culture and anything goes.
That seems the least likely given the current mood. It seems like we are getting a version of the MPAA, right? We're getting some self-regulation of like, okay, we're going to strike deals. We're going to ask permission first, even if we don't have to, we're going to do it. That seems to be where it is now. I don't know how a mechanical royalty would go down, because the objection to using people's data to train data sets is less about getting paid and more about permission, more about consent, from what I can tell. People are like, I just don't like that you did it and I didn't have control over it.
Yeah, and it is worth keeping in mind that right now we're at that weird kooky phase where everybody's afraid of new, and go back and listen to early episodes of what used to be called the Pessimist Archive, where they talked about the moral panics surrounding the elevator, the novel, the opera, bicycles, the phone. This is the weird wiggly, everyone's getting the wiggles out, and then there'll be a new normal.
Yep, that's the chatter. Speaking of, let's move on to our segment called Chatter.
Oh.
You've got mail. Jason said, I know you've been covering the changing landscape of regional sports networks. Big change coming to the Chicago area. The Bulls, Blackhawks, and White Sox are leaving NBC Sports Chicago to form their own network called the Chicago Sports Network starting on October 1st. As part of this change, the network will be available over the air through 2 sub-channels of a local independent broadcaster. They're also looking to lock in deals with linear cable and satellite services. This seems interesting to do over the air, is very interesting, but also I don't know what their streaming service offering is going to be, and that's where it makes or breaks for me. If you in Chicago can sign up over the internet and get these channels streamed without having to have cable, I think that is ideal. Then the over-the-air thing makes sense to me.
I wonder if that's kind of stealthily the real plan, is do the over-the-air, advertise the over-the-air, and then secretly it's like, wow, a lot of people vacationing from the Chicagoland area and checking in on their home sports network.
The other interesting thing about doing over the air is you go into the must carry refusal world, right? Where you don't have to provide the signal to the cable operator. You just say, I'm going to opt out of must carry, and now you have to pay me to carry it, but you just get it over the air.
By the way, Spot Monk in the chat with a slam, a grand slam. Spot Monk says, "If only I could have a tiny antenna in Chicago and have it served over the internet
Illegal.
to me."
Not allowed. Not allowed. Rest in peace. David in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, first of all, said he won't try to make us do Babylon 5, but also said the full experience worked for me with The Wire. I finally watched a couple episodes of the series. I never watched it when Brian and Tom rewatched the series a long time ago. I've always heard the series highly regarded. I figured there won't be a third try on spoiler in time, so I finally understand now the pre-mortal ooze the series is to so many other gritty procedural shows. And he goes on to explain why this worked for him, particularly. But yeah, this is exactly what we want out of the full experience. Somebody who's like, I don't think I'll take time to watch the entire thing, but I'll watch the 4 episodes that are sliced up in the full experience. And then I get a sense of what that series is.
Well, and ironically, he's writing us saying, don't do it for Babylon 5. It won't do it justice. But it's like, my friend, this is the closest you're ever going to get to us giving Babylon 5 a try.
Yeah. So we may ignore you in that sense, but not in any
to be
other
honest,
sense.
I'm rather excited about it. I hear it's quite a good show.
And then finally, Joshua says, G'day, killers. I have a cheeky recommendation for the full experience. Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. Not only will you get the full experience, but the full series is only 4 episodes long.
Loophole. We're going to do the full experience on Lonesome Dove or V the Final Battle.
I kind of love that idea.
Yeah, you know what would be great is to find a miniseries with 5 episodes.
And just do 4. I kind of love that too. Well, thank you, Joshua, for that. Also, thanks to everybody who supports us at Patreon. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. Patreon.com/cordkillers to support us directly. We're live at twitch.tv/Night Attack, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.